Ethan, a boy so awkward he could make a mime blush, was not a hero. He was, to put it kindly, a walking disaster. His social skills were as sharp as a butter knife, and his fashion sense involved wearing socks with sandals, not in a cool, ironic way, but in a I'm lost in the woods and wearing whatever I can find way. So, imagine his surprise when, wandering through the abandoned church, which he'd mistaken for a particularly gloomy public restroom, he stumbled upon a dusty, leather-bound book. It looked like it belonged in a gothic rock band's music video, which, in Ethan's case, was the only kind of music video he'd ever seen. As he opened the book, a voice boomed, "Greetings, young one. I am Merlin, a druid, a wizard, a fellow awkward soul. You've stumbled upon the grimoire of destiny. Use it wisely." Ethan squinted at the book. Wisely? Like, don't spill coffee on it. No, Merlin boomed again, sounding rather annoyed. Use it to unleash your inner power. Ethan, a boy who couldn't even tie his shoelaces without getting them tangled, wasn't sure he had an inner power, let alone one that could be unleashed. But Merlin, being a magical being and therefore prone to dramatic pronouncements, insisted. So Ethan, clutching the grimoire like a lifeline, attempted to unleash his inner power. His first attempt involved making his school bully, a hulking brute named Chad, trip over his own feet. Unfortunately, this resulted in Ethan accidentally tripping over Chad's feet, causing him to fall face-first into a mud puddle. "That's not very impressive," Merlin grumbled, sounding strangely disappointed. Ethan, covered in mud and feeling more like a walking swamp monster than a powerful wizard, tried again. This time, he wanted to make his crush, a girl named Sarah, notice him. He envisioned himself as a dashing prince, charming her with his wit and grace. Instead, he ended up accidentally summoning a flock of pigeons that descended upon Sarah, pecking at her hair. "That's not very romantic," Merlin said, sighing. Ethan, feeling defeated, decided to give up on the grimoire. He shoved it into his backpack, figuring it might come in handy as a doorstop. But then, a few days later, he found himself in a particularly difficult situation. He was trapped in the school library, surrounded by an army of librarians, all determined to force him to shelve books in alphabetical order. In a moment of desperation, he pulled out the grimoire. He held it up and whispered, "Please, make all the librarians love books so much that they forget about alphabetizing." And then, a miracle happened. The librarians, who were previously known for their icy stares and rigid adherence to rules, suddenly became a whirlwind of literary enthusiasm. They started arguing over the correct pronunciation of Nietzsche, debated the merits of Pride and Prejudice versus Wuthering Heights, and even formed a book club. Ethan watched in amazement. Perhaps this inner power wasn't about summoning fireballs or making people fall in love. Perhaps it was about using his unique brand of awkwardness to create unexpected and hilarious chaos. And with that realization, he took a deep breath and decided to embrace his true calling, the world's most unlikely, but surprisingly effective, chaos wizard.